it's not just about India, but the whole world that is looking towards and up to India and its ambitious moon mission, Chandrayaan-3. And as the countdown begins for the lunar mission, NewsX speaks to Dr. William Selvamurthy. He's an Indian scientist and former DG of the DRDO. Sir, appreciate you taking out the time and speaking with us. The first question, the obvious question is, how crucial is the Chandrayaan-3 mission for India's space program?
First of all, I want to compliment the scientists, technicians of the Indian Space Research Organization who have really worked very hard and prepared for the Chandrayaan-3. So we wish them all the best so that this mission will be successful. And though we had a slight setback in Chandrayaan Mission 2, Chandrayaan Mission 3, I am very confident with all the efforts made by the ISRO scientists, this will be a successful mission. And this is very important for the country because we are already developed a lot of capability for the launch vehicles, satellite building, Mars orbital mission and lunar mission. Chandrayaan-2 we have finished. Now Chandrayaan-3 is important. If we make it successful soft landing, India will become in the elite club of 4 countries. This will be the 4th country to have the soft landing in lunar surface. So that is why this is very important for our country to prove our scientific, the acumen as well as the technology prowessness, so that we will be prepared for any interplanetary missions. So this is very critical for India.
So how will the Chandrayaan-3 mission change our understanding of the moon according to you?
Chandrayaan-3 is slightly different from Chandrayaan-2. The first is the orbiter, which used to be there in the Chandrayaan-2, is replaced by a propulsion module. And this propulsion module will take it to the parking orbit, and then you will have the lander which will be moving into the lunar orbit, and then it will land, soft landing. Then the rover come out of the lander, and then it will do its experimentation. So both lander and rover will be doing very, very strategic, important measurements, scientific measurements in this. So Chandrayaan-3 is also fitted with very important payloads. And one payload is to assess the electromagnetic spectrum on the surface of the Earth. And also when you enter into the lunar surface, we will be measuring the elemental analysis, what type of elements are there on the Earth's lunar surface. And it will also be measuring the seismicity, what are the vibrations and the seismic activity in that area. Then it will also measure the elemental gas analysis as well as the metals and the elements available in that area. Then whether water is there, methane is there, what are the type of gases, whether it is carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, methane, there is methane 4, CH4. So we will be there, all that will be measured in that area, which will indicate, methane will indicate whether the life is there, microbes are there, which will generate, or has it been there. So all this will be the part of the scientific missions. And it will also be measuring the temperatures, because lunar surface keeps varying in terms of temperature. So they will be measuring with time the temperature variations, which will also be measured in that. So it's a very critical mission in terms of scientific experiments which will be carried out, and the payloads which have been put both in the lander as well as in the rover.
Absolutely, sir. So why is the success of Chandrayaan-3 crucial not only for India but for the entire world?
See, India is one of the countries which has very long aspirations to have habitation in moon. See, if suppose something happens to this planet, we need to have another planet to live, to sustain the Homo sapiens. So you need to look at whether that lunar environment is habitable for human being, Homo sapiens. Then there are a lot of minerals available minerals available in the lunar environment. So how do we harness this? What are those wealth, the resources available in that environment? So this is the second, we want to understand that. Then the third is any interplanetary the movements. If you have to send to any interplanetary sojourn, then you need to prove various technologies like propulsion, control, guidance, navigation, payload integration, payload separation, and also operating the payloads for the purpose, objectives of the mission. So all this will be tested in this mission. So that is why this Chandrayaan 3 mission is very, very important for our country. And I am hopeful that this will be a very successful mission, because in Chandrayaan 2, almost we reached the objectives. But the last part of the landing, because of the software glitch, that the landing was not smooth. Up to certain altitude, the velocity could not be reduced further. So it had a very hard landing. And also the attitude of that rover completely changed when the lander completely changed. So the rover could not come out. So this was the major glitch of software, which has been corrected. Now it has been very rigorously tested in various environmental conditions. So I am confident that this mission will be a very successful, precise, and like a textbook, the landing would take place.
Absolutely, sir. So the DRDO has proven its technical prowess in the development of missile systems and, of course, more. We all know that. But can we expect joint ventures in the future between the DRDO and space organizations in the future?
See, the long-range missiles like Agni, which has a range of 6,000 kilometers, has similar thing. You need to have propulsion, solid motors, liquid propulsion, control, guidance, navigation, payload integration, and payload separation. These are all very similar to the space missions. So we have a lot of analogy between the space technologies and the missile technology. And so hence, we will be able to learn from each other, and in fact DRDO collaborates with ISRO in many missions. For example, the recovery vehicles, when we are looking at Gaganyaan, the whole recovery system has been developed, tested by DRDO and is given to the ISRO. Similarly, in the Gaganyaan mission, ergonomic design, the vehicle design, all this, lot of collaboration takes place between ISRO and the DRDO. So I'm sure this mission also, we are very keenly watching the outcome, which will be successful. And this collaboration is very critical for this, because space-based security, space-based weapons, these are all going to be the future. And even for navigating a missile, you can do it from the satellite operations. So that these are very, very critical. So DRDO will also be very keenly looking forward to the outcome, and we will collaborate and we will expand, deepen our relationship with ISRO, because the emerging battle scenario is going to involve space in a big way. And also the space assets, when you put all these satellites there, we need to also protect our wealth in space. So that is where the security issues also come. So the DRDO comes in that aspect, that we will, DRDO and space, these are strategic departments, both are strategic departments. And that is why they have to have a very close linkage, even though initially we had the boundaries put, that is civilian-based space systems and military-related space systems, which DRDO was handling, aerospace systems. But now those should melt away, in my opinion, that both are strategic departments and they should work very closely, because space-based security is going to be very important. Like DRDO developed the asset missile, anti-satellite missile, and we demonstrated that. It's a game changer in terms of looking at how do we defend our assets as a deterrent. We developed the asset missile. So these are efforts which are happening from DRDO side, which is also similar to your space technology. So there's a lot of analogy between the missile technology and the space technologies.
Right. So India has recently presented a new space policy. How does it open doors for the private sector in space innovation?
See, the satellites which are required for various applications, whether it is for the security purpose or it's for civilian application, like for example your GPS, you need a constellation of satellites, communication, education, weather forecasting, environmental monitoring. So all this you require number of satellites. So if you see the number of satellites planned to be put in the various orbits, both at LEO, MEO and also at higher altitudes. So it is going to be, number is going to be mind-boggling. So to put this, only ISRO alone cannot take this mission. So we need to have the private sector coming in. So the present government under the leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, has really brought in a revolutionary policy, which is the space policy, which is giving so much flexibility for private sector and incentivizing private sector to come in. So even the launches of all the private sector startups which are coming in this will bring wealth to the country as well, because like launch on demand, you have an earthquake or a natural disaster, you want to do relief operations. So you need to launch on demand. Immediately you have to launch a satellite in that region to observe the rescue operations and so on. So it has several civilian applications and also student satellites like Amity University. We have now CubeSat we have developed in Amity University, which is going to be launched in ISRO, by ISRO. Among all these 75 satellites which are launched in this Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, Amity satellite is one of them. Similarly, Amity University is giving a first biological payload before a human being is sent, is going from Amity to space through ISRO. We have put a callus of a plant as well as a bacteria together. So this is going to be launched from the Amity University into the space through ISRO. So such kind of activities will require civilian involvement. And there is a lot of opportunities for industries to come. Because you need propulsion, control, guidance, navigation, payload. All this you need many people, human resource. So only ISRO alone with limited number of scientists, technicians will not be able to do. That is why this policy, the new space policy, has created that ecosystem, the processes and the practices, best practices to motivate, inspire, incentivize the private sector to come in, giving the patronage. ISRO will support from behind, but ultimately with their support, these industries will blossom and prosper very soon. And then we will compete with the world market, not only for India, but whichever country which needs that kind of support from our space industries will be given by the private sector. I see a lot of youngsters getting into the startups in the space sector. So these are all the outcome which I see now through the policy, space policy, which the present government has pronounced, and they are implementing. And ISRO is providing the support. Even retired scientists from ISRO is now going to open up some startups and also some of the industries which will be supported by ISRO, since they have the linkages already. So this space policy is really a very welcome initiative from our government.
Right, absolutely. So certain private companies have successfully completed paid flights to space. What are your thoughts on space tourism?
See, the space tourism is now is not within the reach of a common man. It is actually only rich, affordable people who can pay for that and to have an experience of floating in space in low gravity. So now they have started, and space tourism is going to pick up because there are many rich people who can afford that. Charges for the space tourism can go and experience for a few seconds or a few minutes the space experience of the low gravity. And this will pick up over a period of time because the safety is very important. once you put a man into the space, they have to come back safely. So this is where more rigorous the experimentation for safety is being assessed now, and slowly this space tourism is gaining momentum. And once the private sector comes in, like in our country also, they will now start thinking about this space tourism as well. That is why the Gaganyaan is very important for us. Gaganyaan will prove our safety issues. You can put a man and then bring him back safely into Earth, and it is reusable. So this type of technologies will be coming up now. So the space tourism will pick up in a big way globally, and then our country will also catch up now slowly with that. And these are the steps which we are taking from India to reach that level of accuracy, safety, efficacy, and precision which is required for those kind of space tourism to be picked up with safety issues. And then there are many people who want to have excitement of those. So this there will be many people opting for it, men and women, and even maybe after some time children will also get into the space. But that is over a period of time it will happen. But space tourism, India is keeping it on the track record in terms of the roadmap in space science and technology. This is also kept as a part of the mission of ISRO.
Very right, sir. So how do we ensure, now that we're talking about it, space exploration and projects are undertaken in a sustainable manner?
Right. So all the technologies which we use, the country is now focusing on green technologies. And whether it is propulsion, you need to dispose those material, propulsion. And so these chemicals which are used and the gases which are emitted during the launch, so it has to be all controlled so that you have green technology, clean technology, and sustainable technology. So this is the focus ISRO is also is giving in all the space mission, and the carbon signature emitted by these missions should be minimal. And this is one of the focus ISRO and the whole India is giving towards the sustainability in whatever we develop. It's not only for space, even defense, even in the CSIR and other missions also. This is being given a focus. The technology should be sustainable, and it has to be green and clean so that it doesn't affect tremendously the ecosystem, biosphere in a very significant manner. So reducing the carbon footprint in all this experimentation is also a part of the basic philosophy in technology development, including that of space technology.
So tell us a little bit about your journey as well on you becoming the DG of DRDO. What was that all about? Take us through.
See, I have been wanting to be a practicing doctor, and so I was very keen to be a doctor looking at the patients. But then destiny took me to be a medical scientist. So I studied in one of the apex institutions in the country, which is Christian Medical College, Vellore, and then at Delhi University, my doctorate, and then DSc from Bangalore University. So then I went into defense at the very young age, 23. I joined the Defense Research and Development Organization. So that gave me whatever I am today as a scientist is because of that ecosystem motivation, inspiration, and mentoring I got from people like Dr. Abdul Kalam and Dr. V.S. Arunachalam, Dr. Atre. So these are very luminaries in defense technologies with whom I was able to directly work with. So they groomed me in whatever I am today. So I was able to develop a large number of life support technologies for the soldiers who have to operate in high altitude, cold, desert, underwater, aerospace, low intensity conflict environment, nuclear, biological, chemical warfare environment, and so on. And also, as one of the senior officials as the Chief Controller R&D, I was also looking at all the institutions, be it in missiles, aircraft, radars, sonars, torpedoes, CBRN technologies or life support technologies. So this journey from a village in Tamil Nadu to Capital and then staying in Capital for 50 years. Now in 10 years in Amity University. It's a long journey. God has been very kind. But I loved my profession. I gave my best in whatever I did to develop these technologies for the nation. For me, the country is number one for my priority. There's a cost to pay for all development, which I did as well. So this journey has been wonderful as a scientist.
Thank you for sharing that, sir. And last question, where do you draw your inspiration from as a scientist?
See, inspiration comes from the youngsters. I'm now in Amity University. I have 200,000 students. So I have every day-to-day basis I'm able to work with youngsters, who are in the age of 18 to let's say 25. So this is the charge which I get, the inspiration I get when I see the brilliance, motivation, the demographic advantage, and the vision these children have, aspirations, ambitions these children have, phenomenal. So that gives me the inspiration and motivation. So this I get in Amity University all the time, because I spend most of the time in the laboratories, classrooms. So that is the inspiration I get from children who are going to be the future of the world, not only future of India, but they are going to have the responsibility for 7 billion people. So we are preparing these children. That gives me the motivation, inspiration, and also keeping me young and enthusiastic. At the age of 74, I keep running with them.
Sir, I really appreciate you taking out the time and speaking with us. And thank you for this heart-to-heart conversation.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.